Hey everyone, and welcome back to Just Prom Does Business. In today's demo, we are talking about Microsoft Whiteboard. And as you can see, I'm diving right into the demo because there's a lot to cover, and I think this tool can be really useful in helping teams to collaborate more effectively, especially with all of us working remotely these days. To start off, let's look at the main toolbar on the bottom. So there are obviously a couple of different options down here. First, you can change the pen color. Then we have the highlighter and the eraser. Now, if you are using your Surface and your Surface pen, you don't really need the eraser feature because you can flip your pen around and use it just like you would a normal pencil and paper and erase items. That's my plug for today. I cannot recommend the Surface devices, including the Surface Pen, enough. I have several, both personal and for work, and I really love them. Okay, anyway, back to Microsoft Whiteboard. Next to there on the bottom, we have the ruler and then the lasso. The lasso is a really great tool. It allows you to select multiple objects at once. I use this a lot if I'm trying to delete like a large group of drawings. Next to that, there is the A, which is for inserting a text box. Then we have the sticky note option, followed by inserting a picture, then inserting additional objects, and then undo and redo for quick access there. So pretty straightforward, pretty basic, but definitely really useful. Now, an important feature when we're talking about collaboration is obviously the ability to share your whiteboard and even to collaborate together in real time. But let me show you in the upper right where you can add people to your whiteboard. So here you can see the little person with the plus sign, and this is to invite someone. When I click on this, you're going to see some suggested contacts, and these are folks that I work with pretty frequently. I can also write in here the name of someone that I want to add to this. And then you'll notice in the upper right of that, there is the little keyboard, and that will put me into text mode. For a lot of us, using the text mode is probably easier and faster for things such as adding individuals. But if you're really savvy with the pen, you might choose to just write in people's names. All right, let's get to the fun stuff in the settings. The three bars up here will take you to the settings menu. Now, I'm only going to really focus on 3 of the settings today, but as you can see, there are a lot of options here. As always, I suggest that you experiment with some of these. Posted teams can be especially useful. Okay, so the 3 we're really going to focus on are ink to shape, ink to table, and object snapping. So let me start with the ink to shape. If you're like me and your handwriting is very awful, and don't look at these words because I fixed these and I'll show you how. If you're trying to create shapes, they're probably pretty messy looking, and for some folks, that could be really hard to collaborate if your document is sloppy. So I'm just going to draw a big rectangle here. And you can see how quickly that snaps into shape. And now it has some really clean lines, which just make it much better for viewing. But where this can come into handy is if I'm trying to create, let's say, a relationship diagram. So I'm going to whiteboard what I know. And I'll start off with the circle here. And I'm going to put Microsoft 365. Now, how did I get my handwriting to look so neat up above? If I click here on the words, you can see it's selected Microsoft. And I'm going to choose what looks like a magic wand, but is actually our ink beautification tool. And there, that looks much better than my own handwriting. I'll do the same with 365. Now I want to show the different components of Microsoft 365. So I'm going to draw a line out, and this time for fun, I'll draw a triangle. There it goes, snaps into shape, and I will write EMS, which is for our Enterprise Mobility and Security Suite. The next, which I'm sure you all are familiar with, is Office 365. And this writing was particularly poor, so let's see if it can correct it. I'm amazed that it did. And then the last component is Windows. Awesome. So while the lines aren't quite as perfect as I'd want them to be, this is, an opportunity where you could use the roller feature. But you can still see how quickly and easily I was able to make a halfway decent looking diagram. All right, let me show you ink to table. Now, I was talking to my younger cousin who was in finance, and she was talking about how they are using Whiteboard to collaborate. And being in finance, they're looking at a lot of different numbers and tables, so the inked table has been particularly useful for them. To draw a table, I'm going to start by drawing a large rectangle. Now, just like any table, we need some rows. And you can see as I draw the rows, it's going to snap and automatically create the same space in each of the rows. So I'll draw 4 just for fun, and now we need to add some columns. Even with a little bit of a squiggly line, you can see it recognizes it and it gives me a nice column here. Cool, so pretty quick and easy table. And then you can fill it in like you would any table. So I just bought some earbuds and I had done a ton of research on which earbuds to get. And there were different features I was looking for, such as, are they waterproof? Right, and then, you know, I could put my brand here that I was looking at. So this is brand 1. And then, you know, I would fill out yes or no, or I could use circles and X's, whatever makes sense for you. But again, you can see how easy it was to get a nice looking table within here. The last setting we're going to talk about is object snapping. And again, this helps you to align objects within the whiteboard. So I'm going to start by adding a sticky note. Just going to move it over here, and I'll write in, great idea. And then of course I want to make it beautiful. Now let's add a picture and see how the object snapping feature works. I'll just go to Bing Image. Again, I have the option to write, or I can choose the keyboard to type. And I'm just going to write in sun. Let's look for a sunshine that seems to make, at least it makes me happy. Here's a beautiful one on the water. I'll select it and click plus. So now I have this image in my whiteboard as well. When I select this image and go to move it, you're going to see different lines come up to help me align this image with the post-it note that is in here. Again, this is just a great way to make it neater. If I add another post-it note, you know, that again has the object snapping, so now it's even on both sides. Just another way to help make your whiteboards cleaner in a quick and efficient manner. To wrap things up, I want to show you the real-time collaboration using my cell phone, which you can see on the right-hand side of the screen. And then on the left-hand side is the whiteboard application on my laptop, the same one I was just using to do all the demos. I'm going to zoom out here on my phone, and you can see all the beautiful work that we did previously. And now I'm going to ink on my phone, so my handwriting is going to be even worse. And of course, I'm going to write something cheesy. You can see how quickly it showed up on my computer as I was writing it on a different device. Well, that's it for today on Microsoft Whiteboard. I know this was a long one, so thank you all for sticking with me through this. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell to get notifications when I post new videos.